big as well, as you can see in the stalls. He's a bit bigger than the others. Amiloc, the last one to move forward. They're in the gate. And they're off. For the listed British Stallion Studs EBF Cocked Hat Stakes, opportunity has to be ridden away from the stalls by James Doyle, and it's to the inside that Tycoon has claimed the early lead with Sir Dinadan around the outside. These two now are pressing on as they go into the top turn. Amiloc, the well-back favourite, has been dropped right out the back of the field. He's going to be ridden cold out the back by Richard Kingscote. In fact, he's just been nudged into the bit as they go around that top turn with Sir Dinadan, now out in front by about 3 parts for length. It is Palazzo Blue who's now come through to take second, as Tycoon has now been restrained back, and now he's taking a very keen hold. He's in a share of third, racing up on the outside of Basalt. Very wide is Seaplane as they race downhill at this point on the track. Opportunity is next to the field, racing with Too Soon, and at the back of the field is Amiloc, who once again comes off the bit as they flatten out now to go through the intersection of the courses, and over 1.3 miles they'll come back towards home via the lower bend. The leader is Sir Dinadan, and Pat Dobbs towards the outside, just hanging now a little, is Palazzo Blue in the hands of Marco Gianni in second. Basalt and Holly Doyle in third, and a reminder at the back of the field for Amiloc, the well-back favourite at the moment, very much on the back foot, as the stablemate from the Rafe Beckett yard, Sir Dinadan, leads by a neck to the outside. It is Palazzo Blue who puts pressure on in second. Tycoon has raced powerfully on the outside of Basalt. Next in the field is Seaplane and Opportunity. Then flat to the boards Too Soon to the inside, and Amiloc still at the back of the field of 8 as they've made the turn in with 3 furlongs to go in the Cocked Hat, and it is on the inside Sir Dinadan. On his outside, Palazzo Blue being ridden, trying to split rivals is Basalt. Tycoon down the wide outside. Amiloc now begins to make ground, badly hampered with 2 furlongs to go was Opportunity, but it is out in front, Sir Dinadan and Pat Dobbs. Tycoon now is in second. Here comes Amiloc down the wide outside, inside the final furlong, all changed. Amiloc takes the lead, goes on from his stablemate, Sir Dinadan in second, Tycoon and then Opportunity. It didn't look likely for a long way, but Amiloc now is 4 out of 4 in the form book. Amiloc wins for Richard Kingscote. A 1-2 for Rafe Beckett as Sir Dinadan was second, and they were followed home by Tycoon, Basalt and Opportunity, and Lucky in the run.
Amiloc has won the Cocked Hat Stakes, and a pretty good edition of the Cocked Hat Stakes, and in the end he's won by miles. Now Richard Kingscote explaining to Rafe Beckett how he did it, because it was unconventional in its execution. He didn't really appear to be picking up the bridle early. He shouldn't have had a problem with pace because he'd won here over a mile and travelled strongly. But sometimes when horses go up in class, it can become a whole different ball game. And the jockey is nothing if not pretty animated. So, you don't normally see Richard Kingscote as animated as that. Riding in the silks of the Aykroyds that were carried to victory in the Dante Stakes the other day by Pride of Arras. When I asked Patrick Cooper, the racing manager, the other day how Pride of Arras was going to fare in the derby, he said he's going to win. Well, when they're running this well, you can be that confident. Richard, I would rarely see you as animated as that in a debrief, but it was very impressive, but unconventional in the execution. What did you make of it?
Likeable horse, very, very laid back, as he looked like last time. I thought the step up in trip would help us travel a bit more today, but he picked up well when I asked him.
So was that just him being sort of lackadaisical early? It wasn't him not enjoying himself?
Yeah, I think he's just chilled character, you know. He cantered down chilled and he balances up fine, so it's not that he's having any trouble with anything. And as I say, once I got hold of him, he picked up well.
I mean, he really did inhale them, and we thought beforehand it was a pretty good race. Do you think it was a good race?
I think so. We went a nice gallop. Obviously, a few horses bringing in some reasonably nice form that may, you know, we were wanting to see them progress from that, but he's been the one to progress, and look, he's 4 from 4, doing nothing wrong, and you've got to like him, you know.
And of course you know the runner-up pretty well, Sir Dinadan, and you have a pretty fair idea of what Amiloc's achieved by giving him a good thrashing.
Yeah, I thought he ran a nice race on his first run, tired up that stiff hill at Sandown, but yeah, I mean, great for Rafe.
All right, well done.
Thank you.
I might have another.
At the line, Amiloc was well on top in the cocked hat, and it was a 1-2 for trainer Rafe Beckett. He trained the runner-up Sir Dinadan as well. Rafe, that was most impressive. What was your feeling as they crossed the line?
Not a surprise, really, Nick. You know, I mean, obviously he's a short price favourite, but when he's racing lazily out in the country, I was sort of thinking, you know, come on, pal, but was never that concerned. And then, of course, when he loomed up on the outside, you know, it was all obvious that I was going to work that way. The second's a good horse. You know, he's a tough.
What sort of calibre horse do you think Sir Dinadan is?
It's
Give us a bit of context.
It's a difficult one because I think he's a Queen's Vase horse.
Right.
He might be more effective. It might be as effective with some juice in the ground. I think that's always going to be on his a help to him. The winner might be a Queen's Vase horse as well. So we've to shuffle the pack a little bit perhaps there, and we'll work out what we do next time.
I mean, this is a bit of a if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle thing. But if he did have balls, would he be a Derby horse, Amiloc?
His work has never suggested so. But obviously, he gallops. He races a lot better than his work. I think he's obviously very talented. It's difficult. Again, you know, the reason. His down was tricky, and some of them out of her were
Kalima,
tricky.
yeah.
were tricky. Brimham Rocks took a long time to grasp what was required. He became a group horse in Australia eventually, but it took a long time. And, you know, there was a Kingman filly who was half mad as well. So, you know, it's never been that straightforward. Latin Verse was a wrong one, the full brother, you know.
Obviously, Postponed has done something right.
So, yeah, he has in this case. So gelding him early helped him early. We'll see what happens, but
I mean, what I'm saying is, could you be then thinking about Edward VII and then, King George with an allowance?
Yeah, we put him in everything, but he's in the Eclipse, as you know. Yeah. So we'll see. Good problem to have, Nick, isn't it?
All right, for all my Mickey taking, Stanhope Gardens this evening. He'll have to go and do what he does, and has a canter around Salisbury. Is he higher up your Derby pecking than Pride of Aris, the Dante winner?
He's a horse. I think I told you in the spring. He's a horse who's always top of the pile for us going into the winter. We'll see how he's had a blip, and which is why we've ended up at Salisbury tonight. It's terrific at Salisbury to put on the race. We asked Windsor to, but they chose to have a 6 furlong 0 to 70 handicap instead.
So I have to race to Ark's defence in saying they've given William Haggis a nice novice for his Commonwealth Cup horse on Thursday.
Yeah, but those races are scheduled.
No, I think it was a. Now my brain's gone. Remind me what they're called. No, he told me it was an interactive race.
Yes, which is a scheduled slot.
And yours is not interactive.
And the Windsor race tonight was an interactive scheduled slot.
Yeah.
Tonight, at Salisbury, it is
not interactive.
So, it's great Salisbury to put it on. He's in good form going. Whether we can put it all together, we'll see.
Okay. The obvious question is, why would you not have run him in this nice listed race?
Because I thought he'd have a harder race coming here.
Okay.
And that's not what he needs 2 weeks out.
Okay. Well, it's a lovely pack to shuffle. How is Pride of Aris?
Good form. Yeah, good form. Came out of it well. Tightened up for the run as I hoped he would. So yeah, we're in a good place this week anyway, Nick.
And are you going to win the Height of Fashion as well?
She'd prefer a bit more juice.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.